Do you ever wake up and feel nothing? No texts. No plans. No buzzing phone. Just silence. Stillness. Just you. At first, it feels weird. Too quiet. And then, that whisper. That heavy feeling in your chest. Not because you're lonely. Because you wonder, do I matter to anyone? That's the moment most men reach for their phones. They text someone they shouldn't. They scroll for hours. They chase anything to feel connected because they were told silence means something's wrong. That if no one's texting, calling, or liking your posts, then maybe you're behind. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're nothing. But what if silence isn't the problem? What if it's the door most men are too scared to open? Nobody told you this. The man who walks alone by choice isn't weak, he's dangerous. Because he's building something no one can see. Something real. Something solid. Something that can't be broken. This message isn't for every man. It's for the ones who are tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of chasing approval. Tired of shrinking to fit in rooms they've outgrown. This is for the man who's done running. In a world full of noise, he chooses stillness. And because of that, he becomes unforgettable. This isn't isolation. This is reclamation. You're not escaping the world. You're returning to yourself. Too many men drift from one woman to the next, one job to the next, one fake friendship to another, chasing attention like it's air. But here's the question. What happens when you stop chasing and just sit with yourself? The answer is this: transformation. Your mind sharpens. Your voice deepens. Your standards rise. And the crazy part? The moment you stop needing to be seen, that's when everyone notices. Before we go deeper, do this right now. Drop this in the comments. I choose solitude to build strength. Not because it sounds cool. But because you're done hiding. Because you're ready to stop performing and start becoming. This is the line in the sand. Let's begin. Number 1. Fear of silence. Sit in a dark room. No phone. No noise. No one calling your name. Just your breath. And something heavier under it, your thoughts. Here's the truth. Most men don't fear being alone. They fear what silence shows them. Not the lack of people, but the presence of truth. In the silence, all the stuff you've been running from, it shows up. The girl who ghosted you. The job you didn't chase. The promise you broke to yourself. The pain you tried to forget. It all comes back, loud, raw, and real. You try to look away. You try to distract yourself. But there's nowhere to hide now. No one to impress. No fake smiles. No I'm fine. Just you. And the truth you've buried for years. Now you have a choice. Will you finally face it, or run again? Most men run. From screen to screen. From woman to woman. Not to build something. But to escape something. Themselves. Because silence? It strips the mask. And when that mask falls off, you see what's been hiding underneath. Insecurity. Doubt. Shame. Your chest echoes with thoughts like, you're not enough. You'll be forgotten. Nothing you do matters. But listen, those thoughts are not you. They're old. They're echoes. They're lies you've been told and started to believe. If you stay in the silence, if you breathe through it, you'll feel something shift. You'll realize you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still strong. And you're not your past. You're not the girl who left. You're not the man who failed. You are the man who stayed. The one who didn't flinch when it got hard. The one who faced his own fire and didn't run. That's rare. That's power. Growth doesn't start in a gym or in a podcast. It starts the moment you decide you're worth facing. Sit in the storm. Let it roar. Let it tear through every lie you believed. Let it strip you down to your truth. And in that silence, a new voice rises. Not loud. Not perfect. But solid. Yours. And when you move again, you move with weight. With depth. With presence. Not because you changed the world, but because you finally came back to yourself. The world doesn't need more men trying to be seen. It needs more men who can sit in silence and come out with clarity. Because that man? He doesn't chase. He doesn't prove. He doesn't need to be noticed. He becomes unshakable without saying a word. Number 2. Approval detox. Most men are addicted to something. It's not always alcohol. Not drugs. Not gambling. It's something way quieter and way more dangerous. They wake up and check their phone. Not for news, but for validation. Did she text me back? Did they like my post? Did anyone notice me? It feels small. Harmless. But it's not. It's not connection. It's dependence, wearing a smile. And here's what makes it deadly. It's invisible. Nobody talks about it. There's no rehab for it. No one says, "Hey man, I think you're hooked on being liked." But it eats you alive, slowly. It doesn't just change what you do. It changes who you think you are. Approval seeking makes you small. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You say yes when your soul screams no. You avoid silence. You avoid honesty. You avoid standing alone because you're scared of being rejected. You think you're being smart. But really? You're just being scared. You're trading your truth for comfort. Your voice for applause. Your freedom for fitting in. And over time, that need to be liked becomes a cage. It's soft. It's pretty. It's decorated with compliments. But it's still a cage. You're not living as you. You're playing a part. And that part is killing your spirit. Because here's the truth. Approval is a high. It hits fast and fades even faster. And when it's gone, you're left needing more. More likes. More replies. More attention. More performance. But all that pretending? It burns you out. Not because you're weak. Because you've been wearing a mask for too long. And masks? They get heavy. But there's another way. It's not easy. But it's real. It's called approval detox. It starts when you stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. When you stop adjusting your truth to fit the room. When you ask the hard question. Am I doing this because it's real, or because I want to be liked? That question alone changes everything. You stop chasing likes. You stop apologizing for having standards. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening anyway. At first, it feels like withdrawal. You feel the silence. You feel the space. You feel the fear. What if they don't like me anymore? But then, something amazing happens. A new voice shows up. Not loud. Not fake. But solid. It's your voice. The one you buried under years of pretending. The one that speaks, not to impress, but because it must speak. Then the shift begins. You stop texting just to stay relevant. You stop laughing to fit in. You start respecting your time, your truth, and your peace. And guess what? People notice. Not because you're louder, but because you're real. They feel it in your silence. They sense it in your presence. You're not begging for attention. You carry it. And that's the paradox. The second you stop trying to be seen, you become impossible to ignore. Because men who chase approval blend in. But men who choose themselves? They stand out. Not with noise, but with alignment. You know what you believe. You know what you allow. And most of all, you know who you are when no one's watching. That's the man people remember. Not because he was loud, but because he was unshakable. Approval detox is messy. It costs you fake friends. It costs you easy praise. It costs you comfort. But what do you gain? Is everything. Number 3. Clarity through solitude. There comes a moment in every man's life when the noise fades. Not just the sound, but the pressure. The opinions. The expectations. It all goes quiet. And for the first time in a long time, you can actually hear what's been waiting underneath it all. Yourself. Solitude is not being alone to suffer. It's being alone to see clearly. It's not isolation, it's restoration. It's the moment you stop chasing everything they told you to want. And finally ask yourself, what do I want? When you're surrounded by noise, you're always reacting. Rushing. Adjusting. Performing. Trying to get it right by someone else's standards. But in solitude, you slow down. You stop reacting. You start observing. You begin to listen to your own mind, your own soul. And you realize something huge. A lot of the thoughts in your head were never yours. The life you were chasing? It wasn't even yours. The job. The image. The version of success handed to you like a script. But it never felt like home. So when you pull back from the noise, something powerful happens. Clarity. You stop asking, what do they want from me? And start asking, what do I need to become who I'm meant to be? You stop living to survive the day. You start living with direction. Your mornings get sharper. Your habits align with your goals. Your time reflects your values. Your environment becomes a mirror, not of who you pretend to be, but who you really are. And here's the shift that changes everything. You stop explaining yourself. You stop arguing with people who will never get it. You stop needing to be understood. Because now, you understand yourself. You're no longer available for drama. You're no longer easy to manipulate. You're no longer influenced by surface-level noise. You're rooted. And that rootedness makes you powerful. People might disagree with you. They might walk away. But you stay grounded. Because you're no longer living for them. You're living in alignment with the man you were born to become. That's the true gift of solitude. It doesn't just clear your mind. It burns away everything that doesn't belong. And what's left? A man with peace in his chest. A man who doesn't chase. A man who doesn't beg to be seen. A man who knows who he is without saying a word. So if your life feels quiet right now, don't panic. It's not emptiness. It's an invitation. An invitation to slow down. To listen. To rebuild. Go meet your power in the silence. Because that's where real men are made. Conclusion. The man who returns to himself. He doesn't chase. He builds. He doesn't beg to be understood. Because he finally understands himself. So if your world feels quiet right now, don't panic. That silence? It's not a problem. It's a doorway. An invitation. Your life is asking you to listen. Not to more noise. Not to more likes or messages. Not to women texting you back. But to yourself. Because you don't need more attention. You don't need more distractions. You need more stillness. More space. More time with the man you've been ignoring, you. The man who walks alone isn't broken. He's not lost. He's not failing. He's rebuilding. He's not running away from the world. He's returning to himself. Sharpening. Refining. Letting go of everything that never truly belonged to him. Not waiting to be chosen. Choosing himself. And when you become that man, something changes. Suddenly, the right people find you. The right doors open. You don't need to chase anything anymore. Why? Because you've become the kind of man worth finding. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's mastery. So if something inside you felt this message, don't scroll past it. Drop a comment right now. I choose solitude to forge my strength. Not because it sounds cool, but because you're done hiding. Because you're ready to become. And before you go, hit like not because you were entertained, but because something inside you woke up. And subscribe to this channel if you're ready to build. Not noise. Not popularity. But clarity. Discipline. Quiet strength. Because here at the Stoic Spirit, we don't chase approval. We create men. From the inside out. Thank you for being here. Not just for watching, but for feeling this message. In a world that pressures you to perform, chase, and blend in, it takes real courage to pause, to reflect, to choose the harder path of growth. This community isn't for the masses. It's for the few who are done pretending. The ones ready to build strength, clarity, and quiet confidence. Stay grounded. Stay focused. And remember, you don't need to be loud to be unforgettable. The Stoic Spirit.